BYU's perfect season comes to a close as the Cougars fall to Kansas 17-13. Mitch Harper, Matt Baiamonte here with KSL Sports. Matt, a pooch punt. The pooch punt heard around the Big 12 ends BYU's perfect season.
Well, to me, Mitch, it wasn't the pooch punt that lost them this football game. It was their struggles in the red zone. They moved the football successfully at the end of the second quarter and the fourth quarter, and they got 0 points on both of those drives. You can't have turnovers in the red zone. You've got to find a way to convert inside the red zone. Just 6 points on 4 red zone trips. You're going to lose a lot of games like that.
2 consecutive weeks, BYU ends up with only 1 touchdown. That's got to get fixed. And it was interesting in the postgame. Chase Roberts indicated that in practice this week, red zone offense didn't look great in practice. And I appreciated the honesty from Chase because, I do agree with his messaging too. And I didn't want to say this really, but I think it's right. This could be a good thing, Matt. It could. Now, you wanted to have the perfect season. I get that. But I think it could be a good thing for this team to refocus because your goals are still in front of you. You can still get to the Big 12 title. You just have less of a margin for error now.
Felt bad for Chase that the first time we talked to him was after a loss. But I also thought his commentary on, okay, we can put together a game-winning drive, sure. We got to stop doing that. Those are his words. We have to stop doing game-winning type drives. We got to be beating people by 20 and 30. There's an opportunity to win tonight by 20 points, Mitch.
No question.
You convert some touchdowns, and you don't. I mean, the pooch punt. If you're up by 10, the pooch punt never happens, and then there's those 7 points are off the board. So, offensively, this was an offensive loss. There's no other way to sugarcoat it. I thought the defense played great football, and until they get that fixed, they're going to be in coin flip games.
I think we need to fade the fade pass. 2 straight weeks, the 2-point attempt against Utah, and then this week, the end of the first half, down in that corner, the attempt to Mata'ava Ta'ase doesn't come up. It comes up with a pick, and that was a little bit of momentum for Kansas, but BYU comes out in the third quarter, has a long drive, 17 plays, and to end up with 3 points, that felt like a loss to me for BYU and a win for Kansas. It felt like in that moment.
Yeah, but if you had kicked the field goal instead of throwing an interception and you're up 13, then you go to 16, this final drive, you just need a field goal. So all these little things matter, but at the end of the day, I think you make a great point. You go on a 17-play drive, punch that in. Yep. Take their heart out with a touchdown, and they have to find a way to score touchdowns. Otherwise, they're going to lose out on the Big 12 championship game.
Jake Retzloff ends up 18 of 28, 192 yards, 1 touchdown. At the end of in the first half, it looked like his left shoulder, left arm got a little bit banged up. Some of the throws from Jake didn't seem like he had the same power, the same velocity behind those throws as we've seen. There was one that was batted down at the line of scrimmage by a Kansas defender. But BYU's defense, they had a lot of success stopping a Kansas offense that put up huge numbers over Iowa State a week ago. I think it was like 540 a week ago. BYU's defense outside of the first drive was pretty stout, yet they come out on the losing end.
33 yards on the ground after the first drive, Mitch. BYU outrushed Kansas by 89 yards. They were much better on the ground, but when you're not converting that into points, that's a problem. I'm also, you can't blame the loss on this at all, but this field is slick. The conditions were crap today. So going down to Arizona, I looked at the weather, 78 degrees down there. That's going to be nice football next week. I'm not blaming the loss at all on this, but the conditions were poor, and I think that did play a role.
ESPN's, I think, Quentin Kucinich said it was like a elementary class project. I'm paraphrasing, but second year in a row, there's some wet conditions on the field. At least we weren't hearing about cleats and studs and things like that this week. But again, BYU held Kansas only 242, yet they come out on the losing end. BYU's got to bounce back. Arizona State, as you noted, Matt, next week, 1:30 kick on ESPN. We'll have extended pregame beginning at 11 a.m. on KSL News Radio. We'll both be down there in Tempe for that one between the Cougs and the Sun Devils. But they've got to bounce back, and they got to find a way to respond. And this is going to be a good test for this BYU team to see how quickly they respond. Seeing Jake Retzloff at the end of the game on the field, kind of embracing with school president Shane Reese, Keith Vorkink. It's emotional, but can they respond and turn this thing around in a hurry? Because if they do, they can be in Arlington in a few weeks. So full coverage on KSLSports.com and the KSL Sports app.